The air in the house felt wrong, like a note played off-key in a song you've known forever. Mark stood frozen in the hallway, his keys still dangling in his hand, the metallic jingle fading into silence. He hadn't meant to overhear. He'd come home early, hoping to surprise Lisa with takeout from her favorite Thai place, but the words drifting from the kitchen stopped him cold. He has no idea how to satisfy a woman, Lisa's voice had said, sharp and careless, followed by her sister's muffled laugh. The words weren't just a jab. They were a blade, slicing through 10 years of marriage in a single breath. Mark's chest tightened, his breath shallow as he pressed himself against the wall, out of sight. The takeout bag grew heavy in his hand, the smell of curry turning sour in his nose. He wanted to storm in, to demand answers, but his feet wouldn't move. Instead, he listened, each word from Lisa's mouth piling onto the weight crushing his heart. I mean, it's not like he tries, she continued, her tone flippant, as if she were discussing a bad movie instead of their life together. I've been faking it for years, Jen. Years. Jen's voice, softer but no less cutting, chimed in. God, Lisa, why do you stay? You deserve better. Mark's throat burned. Better? Was that what Lisa thought too? His mind raced, replaying moments. Late nights when she'd sighed and turned away. Mornings when her smile felt forced. Had it all been a lie? The laughter from the kitchen grated against his nerves, and he backed away, retreating to the front door before they could hear him. He needed air. He needed to think. Outside, the autumn evening was crisp, the sky bruised with purples and oranges. Mark dropped the takeout bag onto the porch and sank onto the steps, his hands trembling. The neighborhood was quiet, the kind of quiet that amplifies every thought. He'd always thought they were happy, not perfect, but happy. They'd built a life together. The cozy house with the creaky staircase, the vacations to the coast, the inside jokes about her terrible cooking. Had it meant nothing to her? The betrayal wasn't just in her words. It was in the ease with which she'd said them, the casual dismissal of everything he'd poured into their marriage. He didn't go back inside that night. Instead, he drove to a bar on the edge of town. A dimly lit place where the jukebox played songs about heartbreak that felt too on the nose. Nursing a whiskey, Mark stared into the amber liquid, searching for answers it couldn't give. His phone buzzed, Lisa, asking where he was. He ignored it. The thought of facing her, of pretending he hadn't heard, made his stomach churn. But the alternative, confronting her, felt even worse. What would he say? I heard you trash me to your sister. The humiliation burned hotter than the whiskey. Days passed, and Mark became a ghost in his own home. He moved through routines, work, dinner, sleep, but his mind was elsewhere, dissecting every moment of their marriage for signs he'd missed. Lisa seemed oblivious, her smiles as bright as ever, her touch as warm, but now every gesture felt like a performance. At night, when she reached for him, he'd mumble excuses, rolling away to face the wall. The space between them in bed grew wider, an invisible chasm filled with her unspoken truths. The tension built like a storm. Mark started noticing things. The way Lisa's phone was always face down, the late-night texts she'd dismiss as just Jen. The way her laughter felt sharper, like it was meant to cut. He began to wonder if there was someone else, someone who, in her eyes, knew how to satisfy her. The thought gnawed at him, a relentless ache that kept him awake. He didn't want to snoop, but the need to know was stronger than his pride. One night, while Lisa showered, he grabbed her phone. His hands shook as he typed in her passcode. Their anniversary. A detail that now felt like a cruel joke. There were no incriminating texts, no secret lovers. Just endless conversations with Jen, filled with complaints about him. His predictable routines, his boring job, his failure to keep things exciting. Each message was a fresh wound, but one stood out. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Sent 2 weeks ago. Mark's vision blurred, tears mixing with rage. He set the phone down and walked out, the sound of the shower fading behind him. He drove aimlessly, the city lights smearing through his tears. He thought about leaving, about packing a bag and disappearing. But where would he go? This was his life, flawed, yes, but his. The idea of starting over felt like abandoning a part of himself. Instead, he pulled into a park, the same one where he'd proposed to Lisa under a willow tree. The memory felt like a stranger's now. He sat on a bench, the cold seeping through his jacket, and let himself feel it all. The anger, the hurt, the love that refused to die despite everything. The confrontation came a week later. Lisa was in the kitchen, humming as she chopped vegetables. The normalcy of it infuriated him. "We need to talk," he said, his voice low but steady. She turned, her smile faltering as she saw his expression. "What's wrong?" she asked, setting the knife down. "I heard you," he said, the words spilling out before he could stop them. "That night with Jen. You said I don't know how to satisfy you. You've been faking it. For years." His voice cracked, but he pressed on. "Is that what you really think of me? Of us?" Lisa's face went pale, her eyes wide with panic. "Mark, I didn't mean it like that. It was just girl talk. I was venting." "Venting?" He laughed, a bitter sound. "You tore me apart, Lisa. You made me feel like nothing. And you've been doing it for years, haven't you? Pretending." Her silence was answer enough. She reached for him, but he stepped back. "I'm sorry," she whispered, tears welling. "I didn't want to hurt you. I don't know. I've been unhappy, okay? But I love you." "Love," he spat. "Love doesn't talk like that behind someone's back. Love doesn't lie." He paused, his voice softening. "I gave you everything I had, Lisa. Was it ever enough?" She sobbed, her words tumbling out in a rush. "It's not you, it's me. I've been struggling, feeling trapped. I didn't know how to tell you." But her excuses felt hollow, like lines from a script she hadn't rehearsed well enough. Mark walked away, leaving her crying in the kitchen. He didn't know what came next, divorce, counseling, or something in between. But as he stepped outside, the night air cool against his skin, he felt a strange relief. He'd faced the truth, raw and ugly as it was. For the first time in weeks, he felt like himself again, not the man Lisa's words had reduced him to. He'd satisfied himself, not with vengeance or denial, but with the courage to demand honesty. The future was uncertain, but he knew one thing. He deserved better than a lie.